When building Java web applications, we may require additional servlets, filters, and listeners to be registered with our application. We may need a special servlet to provide request processing for a unique use case, or maybe a filter is needed for some pre-processing of our requests. Within Spring Boot, we'll find support for registering these servlet components within our applications. So let's get started taking a look at this support. Within our source main Java directory, we're going to create a new filter inside the com.o'reilly.boot package. So we'll open the new dialog, we'll create a class, and I'm going to name this class myFilter, and then I'm going to make this class extend the javax.servlet.filter interface. So we'll go ahead and hit finish, and here we'll see that our class is created. So we'll have a number of methods that we can provide an implementation for. And we're just going to focus on the doFilter method. We'll modify the arguments to be a little bit more descriptive. That way we can see the request, the response, and our filter chain, which I'll actually name chain. So of course, in order to pass along in the chain, we need to invoke the doFilter method, and we pass in the request and the response. Now, we're just going to add some very simple logic here that we would perform when this filter is invoked. So simple logic goes here, and we'll just print that message out to the console when our filter does the request preprocessing. Now, one important thing we need to remember is that we need to declare this filter as a bean. And this is how we tie in the servlet components with the Spring Boot application. Spring Boot is able to scan all of the beans, and if it finds a bean that implements the filter interface, it's going to register that filter with the underlying embedded container. So now let's start our Spring Boot application, and then we're going to navigate to our browser, and we can access the application. We'll hit the Timeleaf template, and there we see our pages displayed. And now we need to go look at our console, and you'll notice that the logic from the filter was invoked. So we are able to successfully register a filter with the embedded container using Spring Boot. Now let's take a look at another way we can accomplish this. So currently we're using the component annotation, but this could be substituted for the web filter annotation, and this is from Java EE, so it's more of a standards approach. Now with that in place, we do need to add an additional annotation to our application class, and that is the servlet component scan annotation, and this will signal to Spring to search for annotations such as web filter, web servlet, and web listener, and register them with the underlying container. So let's relaunch our application, and now we can navigate to our browser, and we can visit our URL. And once again, if we inspect our console, there you'll notice that we once again invoked the logic within our filter. So in this lesson, we saw how to register servlet components with a embedded container along with the help of Spring Boot. This was achieved by simply using annotations that are going to cause the components to be registered automatically, along with some scanning that Spring Boot will conduct of our project.